All right, kick this thing off. So we're going to start with a little recognition, and then some of the coaches that just got back from Cancun are going to share some of their biggest takeaways from last week. Okay, so I'm going to start with some recognition, starting with personal volume. But first, my parents are here. They're leaving tomorrow, and you guys are going to have to mute your computer because it's creating an echo. Or turn it off, yeah. You can listen over here if you want. Family problems, you know. So it's part of the issue with doing business with your family. I'm only kidding. Okay, so personal volume points. So this is for new coaches. Everything that you personally order or any of your customers order from you, that creates your personal volume points. And then all the coaches that are on your team in your downline, all of their personal volume points creates your team volume. You'll catch on to that as you start to get more coaches on your team. Okay, so as far as personal volume points for last week, the top 20 coaches that created the most volume, starting with the 200 club. So these are coaches that were at 270 and above. Candace, TW, Amy Reelman, Trip Knowles, Tiffany Geyer, Abby Delgado, Tracy Gauthier, Kelly Marks, Christina Hill, Lauren Fravel, Jeff Leese, Kayla Emery, and then in the 300 club was Tanya Boycourt, Catherine Nye, Tammy Haiti, Pete Reelman, and in the 400 club was Christy Hurley, Barb Frevert. In the 500 club with 555 was Shauna Valenta, myself. And then at the top of the list with 727 personal volume points was Team Boom Diamond Coach Bridget Moore. Killing it. And then for coaches that enrolled more than one coach last week, there were, I think, 10 coaches that enrolled more than one. So these are the coaches that enrolled 2 coaches last week. Kristen Coyne, Kelly Marks, Josh Evans, Jason Gibson, Ashley Yoho, Aneth Segovia, and Amy Reelman. With 3 coaches enrolled last week, Michelle Phillips, Marie Sardelli, Carrie Steelman-Schmidt, and Amy Morgan. And with 4 coaches last week, Carolyn Nathan enrolled 4. And then the last recognition I want to do was Success Club for April so far. So for new coaches, Success Club, you get 2 points for every challenge pack that a new customer or new coach orders from you. And you get 1 point if they only want Shakeology Home Direct. But why would they do that? Shakeology's $130, and you can get a challenge pack for $140. So nobody should be doing just a straight up Shakeology Home Direct. So these are the coaches that have already hit Success Club so far this month. And we got, 8 days left, a little over a week left in the month. Plenty of time to hit Success Club, even if you have 0 points. So with 5 points, we had Jennifer Conroy and Kim Opperley. With 6 points, we have Wade Kephart, Anne-Marie Vickers, Michelle Keating, Ashley Coyne, Kayla Emery, Judy Hartley, Ashley Yoho, Susie Bell, Julie Collins, Leslie Clements, Carrie Steelman-Schmidt, Bridget Moore, Kirsten Barnett, Nicoletta Sidowitz at 7. Also with 7, Tanya Boycourt, Kelly Marks, Terry Bachlet, Courtney McDougall. With 8, actually Courtney McDougall at 8. And also with 8 is Nicole McComber, Tammy Haiti, Emily Bachlet,
Hottie.
Annie Wallace, Tammy Hottie?
Yeah, she likes it.
All right, I'll go with that. Tammy Hottie with 8 points. With 9, we have Barb Frevert, Alyssa Sardelli. Yeah, that a girl, Alyssa. Myself with 9. And with 12, we have Jason Gibson. And with 14, and Jason Gibson, newcomer, new kid on the block, killing it with 12 Success Club points. I think this is like his first month. And then also at the top with 14 Success Club points is Amy Reelman. And these are just the people that have made Success Club so far this month. So there might be some people that have more than 5 points that I didn't list, but I guess they didn't hit Success Club yet. Maybe they just they haven't got their Shakeology Home Direct, because the Make Success Club, you have to have 90 PV of Home Direct. So maybe their Shakeology hasn't gone through yet. So that's it. That's all I have for the recognition. So I was going to have, if I can get back to Zoom here, I can find it. Did I get booted off of Zoom? Oh, here we go. I'm back.
No.
Okay. Technical difficulties. So I think there was like 30 of us or so that were at Cancun. So every year, Beachbody does a Success Club trip. Last year it was a Caribbean cruise. This year was an all-inclusive resort in Cancun. Next year is another Caribbean cruise. So it's kind of a rewards program for the coaches that are doing well, that are hitting Success Club every month. It was pretty cool that we got to go. Most of us got to go for free. You know, the room was free, all you can drink, all you can eat for free, just because we're working hard and helping others. So what I wanted to do was have some of the coaches that went just kind of share their biggest takeaway, maybe their two biggest takeaways, what they liked, what they learned from the event. They had a top 10 panel. The top 10 coaches from 2014 got up and talked, shared some of their biggest tips and some of the things that they might have done a little differently if they had to do it over again. We also had, Brian Mack is on the call. We also have some big announcements. There's a new workout program that's going to be released at Summit. It's called Size, I believe. Shaun T's new workout, which is going to be like an extreme hip-hop abs or like rockin' body. So Shaun T already has these like dance workout programs that are like cardio-based, but more fun because it's to choreography and dance moves. And it's for any level. Even if you have no dance moves whatsoever, you can kind of learn as you go. And then at the end of the workout, you'll have all the different parts of the choreography nailed, and you can kind of dance all the way through it and rock it. So that's going to be really cool. I got the Elite sneak peek disc right here that I'm going to try out and maybe post a video of it. I might be too embarrassed. We'll see how it goes. But that's going to be coming out at Summit. There's also a new supplement line that's going to blow away the E&E drink, the pre-workout drink that we have. It's going to blow away the results and recovery post-workout drink that we have. It's 4 parts, and it was created by a guy from Harvard, a team of people from Harvard and Oxford. So there's 4 parts to it. There's the supplement that you take before you work out, the pre-workout. There's the one that you take during the workout to keep you hydrated, and then there's the post-workout for recovery. And then the 4th one is one you take like 30 minutes before bed that helps with your recovery process while you sleep, because that's when your muscles really recover and repairs during the sleep process. So this thing you take 30 minutes before is supposed to help take that to the next level. And Tony Horton's been using it for the last few months, and he said he's just felt amazing. He feels so much stronger and recovers a lot faster than he's ever before. And he's, I think, like 55, 56 years old. I worked out with him last week, just happened to walk into the gym, and he was in there, and he put us through like a ridiculous workout, and he was kicking our ass, and he's almost twice my age. And from what he was saying on stage, I think these new supplements that are coming out at Summit are a big part of that reason. So I'm super excited about that. So those were the 2 big announcements that you guys are going to be looking forward to and trying to like create some excitement for leading into Summit when those things release. So I'm going to open this up to some of the coaches that want to share that were at the event. Is someone, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I'll go first.
All right. Were you trying to say something? I'm like looking at the chat, looking back up.
Oh, Marie couldn't see me, so I was like, well, it's important I be seen. So
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're big time. You're like a diamond coach, killing it. So go for it. Let's hear it.
All right, so I posted in the Boom Fam probably like one of my biggest takeaways, which was, during the workout with Shaun T and just feeling like I was regaining this fitness strength. and feeling comfortable with the team. I just feel like the one thing that I want to stress the most is how important it is to meet everyone, because I went to Summit last year and it was 10 times better being around everyone the second time, like than the first time. So it only just keeps getting better and better because you get a chance to connect with people that you might not have the first time. And the Success Club trips are a little bit more, intimate and smaller with the team. Same thing like when we do the retreat. I feel like there's no way I'm going to miss it this year because there's just such a fire. Everyone is having a good time. There's business conversations like all over the place. And, but it's not like overwhelming. I just think that if you're nervous or scared, or if you're introverted, you don't even have to be introverted to be nervous. Like I'm really outgoing and I was nervous just based on body image, but, my biggest takeaway is that it's a family, it's a team. I just keep enjoying it more and more, and I get closer to more people the more events that I go to. Like I met Michelle and we felt like you already feel like you know everyone. And like Brittany, we were at Vegas together, but we didn't really get a chance to connect. And then at Cancun, we spent a lot of time like talking and connecting. So you just never know who is going to stand out and who you're going to meet and stuff like that. So I'll be done with that.
Cool. I think, that's couldn't be more true. What's wrong with this thing? I think it's funny because you had Tommy Migrant on our call not too long, 2 weeks ago, I think. And he was talking about events. And he said, you never know what 5-minute conversation is going to change your life. And that is just so true. I can't tell you how many, not even 5-minute, like little 1 minute, 2-minute conversations, or maybe just one sentence that I never would have gotten if I hadn't gone to the event. But that one sentence has changed my life in so many ways. So totally agree. Thanks, Sarah. That was awesome.
Yeah. Well, okay. One more thing before we go on, because I'm sorry, but that makes a lot of sense. And a prime example of that was we're at dinner and I was talking to Bridget and Caroline, and I don't use the challenge pack script. I just never have. I always have used like what works for me, but they both just kind of looked at me and were like, seriously, no, just do it. So it just took like that one instance for them looking at me like I was crazy to finally decide to change up, because I'm pretty set in my ways, what I was doing. So things like that happen too, where it's like the barrier, the breakthrough to change what's not working for you.
Love it. Awesome. And you're starting to use the challenge pack script.
Yeah.
You're going to love it. Trust me. And I don't even like to call it like a script. I think the word script is kind of like deceiving. And people don't like that word. So I like to call it more of like a word map, because I use it as a map, as a guide, but I don't copy and paste exactly word for word like a script. It's more of like a guide that I use, and I put it in my own words based on how the conversation's going with that person and what type of relationship I have. So I call it more of like a word map. But, like it's a lot better to hop in a car with some type of direction and some type of guide to get you where you're going, versus just hopping in a car and have no clue where you're driving. You're never going to get there. Or if you do, it's going to take a lot longer. So script, word map, whatever you want to call it, they're super, super helpful. You don't have to recreate the wheel. And the scripts and those word maps, those things are not on trial. Those things are proven. They work. It's just a matter of using them. All right. Thanks, Sarah. How about my brother from another mother, my brother from my mother's sister, who probably was the closest thing I had to a brother growing up. And I'm super excited that he's in on this thing. I got a chance to hang out with him all week in Cancun, which was a lot of fun. So, Brian, what was one thing you liked, one thing you learned? What was your biggest takeaway?
Well, I had a feeling you were going to put me on the spot, so I kind of thought about it a lot. And to echo what Sarah said a little bit, one huge takeaway was Team Boom family. I mean, a lot of you folks are actually my family, like by blood. And it just was really impressive to see and meet all the people you guys have connected with and have actually made a legitimate impact on their lives. And that was very eye-opening for me. And then, Pat's been trying to get me into Beachbody for like 6 years, I think. And I always just said no. And I kind of told him how at one point in time he had approached me and it was kind of impersonable and I just like wasn't into it. And then when I was there listening to the CEO, Carl, talk and just like describe how they're just getting started, it's not too late, and how he is, to me, he's such a visionary and an entrepreneur, and he really believes in this. And it just kind of really set home to me that it's never too late. You could be 99 years old and decide to change your life. And I think that's kind of what really struck home. And I was sitting next to Sarah and just meeting new people, and it just was it's a really great time. And I'm really glad to have met all of you who were there. And those of you who weren't there, I hope to see all of you at the next one or at Summit or wherever. I just thought it was a really great time, and I really appreciate Pat for inviting me to let me experience what it is to be part of Team Boom. And I'm really excited to get going.
Awesome. So obviously because Brian's like our family and he's been watching us over the last few years through social media, was it a lot different than you thought? Obviously you've seen all our posts and everything on Facebook, Instagram. When we're at family events like Thanksgiving and Christmas, that's all we talk about. So was it a lot different versus all of that stuff, seeing all that versus actually going to an event and meeting some of the other coaches that we've impacted their lives and they've impacted ours?
Yeah, it does make it a lot different than just seeing people's posts on Instagram or on Facebook. Actually meeting these people and talking to them and, asking them how their journey from just getting started to Diamond was, and, how they've done it and like what little twists they've done and how they focused on it. And a big thing you always talk about is the why, and meeting some of these people and like really understanding why they want to do this and their reasons behind it. It just, to me, it makes more sense than just to see a post on Facebook. They're real people. They're not just trying to sell you something. They're trying to better themselves and hoping that they can provide you the opportunity to do that as well. And it's really inspiring to see that, and it's really motivating. And I think, Pat, you nailed it on the head that getting people to go to events is huge. Like, that makes a world of a difference than just seeing a post on Facebook. And that's really a game changer, and it's shocking.
See how I love this kid so much? Come on, this kid's great, right? And Carl, it was the same thing. Like he said it before. Like his company made. I think his goal initially was he wanted to create Beachbody, this company that was going to make $100 million company. And last year he hit $1 billion. And I've heard him say it a few times. He said, my life is set. I could do whatever I want, and my lifestyle is completely set for the rest of my life. I have enough money. It's about more than that at this point. There's just so many people out there that haven't been touched by this and need us. So even just hearing it from the CEO, knowing that this is a lot bigger than just making money, it really is cool to hear it from the top. And just like Brian said, this guy is amazing. He's a visionary. He's not just a CEO. He's a visionary. And he's someone that I love to see what he's going to do next, because it's always amazing. Cool. Thanks, Brian. So who's next? Who wants to rattle it off?
Could I go next quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. My takeaway is, of course, seeing everyone once again. Brian, getting another relative in there. It's so exciting, and everyone that came, and every time we see them, we get more and more of a family bond. And I've been going to these events since 2010, and we ran around, and I'm just noticed. It's just, we would run around and we would talk to all these coaches and be in awe of them and like, what's your secret? And what's your secret running around? And now the more that I've gone and how developed Team Boom is, I just think we've got it down. We have a system. We have our scripts. We have our training. I think we're the most organized team. And we can take little things away from other teams, but I mean, we've got Patrick here, 2-time elite coach, and probably 3 more coming up. We have arrived. Team Boom.
Well, my poor mom's like exiled to the outside of my apartment because there's too
Yeah.
But it's true. It is
I'm at the
true.
pool.
People were coming up to Team Boom, not just at this last event, but in the last like 6 months to a year, and a lot of these like top coaches, you know, and wondering what we're doing. And just like my mom said, like I remember going to these events, like in awe of these other coaches, asking them what they were doing. And now it's funny to people coming up to me with that, or anybody on Team Boom with that same, like, what are you guys doing? What's like the secret?
Right.
And now, you know, like on this side of it, there isn't really a secret. What you do every day is very simple. The secret is doing it for a long period of time. And you do it past when you don't feel like doing it anymore. You're not going to get results if you just do it when you feel like it. It's just a matter of doing those same things for that point of time where you don't feel like it. You continue to do it anyway because you know it's going to pay off, because you've been surrounded by so many of these other people that have already done it that you know that you could do it too. You know, like,
and we also have our own success stories. You know, we used to say, oh, Lindsay Matway makes this amount of money, or so-and-so makes this. Now we have our own people. It's more relatable.
Yeah. And I think it's funny, like, I can't remember who said it. They said that they were like intimidated to meet me, but I think like when they get around me and my family's talking about how like when I was growing up, I was kind of a lazy kid, and they couldn't get me to do anything. They couldn't even get me to mow the lawn. You know, I was like a low 80s average student. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, they basically just tear me down at these events. You know? But it's like it's good for the other coaches that like only see me through social media and like, oh, Patrick Green, I'm a 2-time elite coach, but they get to know, you know, Pat. And instead of like 5-star qualifying Amy Reelman, they get to know Amy, and it's more real. And you just get to know them as people. And you're like, I could do that. I mean, if this kid, Pat, this lazy kid who like walked around his house in boxers and didn't do anything and was late for school every day, if this kid can do it, I mean, I know I can do it. And I think that's a big reason, you know, Brian knows he can kill it. And the people that come to these live events and get to see us and all the other Team Boom coaches that are killing it, it becomes a lot more real. They're like, oh man, these guys are jokers. They just like to have a good time, and they're successful. And I like to have a good time, and I know I can be successful with them too. Cool. Thanks, Mom. Who else?
I'll go, Pat. Mine sort of is exactly what Mom said. So the first event I ever went to was in 2010, and I wasn't into the business. I was actually just invited by my mom and my husband. That was his first event. So this is his first event that he's been to in 5 years. And he was telling me on the way back, just in general, he could not believe how much the company has grown and progressed in the past 5 years, how like our team has progressed. Like, this is the first time he's actually seeing our family at these events and meeting these people that I've been talking about forever, and them coming up to me and talking to me and me going up to them. So he was just like, this is awesome. Like, this is, you know, it gives you like that belief in it. And then just having other people coming up, like you said, Pat, like from other teams, like other teams were like coming on our team trips and asking us like, what are you guys doing? And, you know, what are your training schedules? And these are like elite coaches asking us what we're doing. And I'm like, oh, you know, I'm kind of like telling them, but they're telling us. And just meeting other successful people, like hearing about their failures, how like the same things that we hear, you know, like this person said no 1,000 times, like they said they were going to do this and they didn't, you know, all those things that like we hear on a daily basis. Other people experience those same things and they're like so successful. And then this like millionaire like floats up to us in the pool, and he was like and he's like talking about what he makes. He's like makes $15,000 a week, and then he just like goes like swims away, and I'm like, what? Like, you make that much, you know? So, and he's just the most laid back, coolest person. So it's just, these events are crazy. Like just getting to a Super Saturday, meeting people. Like Sarah said, every time you go, you sort of like reconnect with people, and you learn what's working for like Bridget and Caroline, and, you know, meeting their team. So it's just the connection, and just getting there. And then after, once you get there, it's like, you come back and you're like on fire. So that was kind of my takeaway, and having like my husband there. And I know like for Shauna, like her husband was there. So there's sort of like, you're just soaking it up. And, you know, my mom, we're like snorkeling, and my mom's like snorkeling. There's like water in her nose, and her and Amy are like talking about team cycling. And I'm like, no, what are you doing? So it's like little conversations like that. You just like pick up so much information. So
is Chuck around? I was texting with Chuck. He said he had like his biggest takeaway he was going to share.
Chuck.
I'll go to someone else and then we'll come back. Who else?
I can talk, Pat.
Go ahead. Go for it.
So the thing I love the most is, as everyone's saying, the family of Team Boom. As I was like petrified to go to the Team Boom retreat in the fall, and these are like the same group of people that were there. And everyone's just so incredibly welcoming. And I met some people on this trip I've never met before, but like talked to via Facebook and stuff. And like Sarah Korbecki is the coolest person ever. But like things like that, where you spend so many hours talking to people on Facebook, it's like really, really cool to get to know them. And Andrea Wallace is obviously really busy, but like we talked for like a good couple hours just about like all like the past like 5-6 years, and how like she's helped start Team Boom, and just things like that you just don't have the time to learn when you're chatting on Facebook Messenger all day. So really getting to know people that you don't see all the time is really awesome. And then I guess I just learned like the true potential of this business. I mean, I like every time I go to an event, I keep like learning more and more, but tomorrow's going to be my biggest paycheck, and I was gone for 4 of those days. So, I mean, my biggest paycheck by far as a coach, and I was gone for 4 of those days. And I remember Michelle Phillips saying something along those lines of when she went to the cruise, I think, and how like she came back and it was her biggest paycheck. I think it was Michelle. Last year, and I was like, that's crazy, like she's an anomaly, like that's not true. And then I like was looking at my cycles and looking at my commissions, and I was like, holy crap, I was literally like not working for 4 days. So like to see the potential, and over time, if you really put the effort in, I'm really starting to actually learn that. So that's really cool. But it's truly like the people. I mean, it's incredible how like people just accept you right off just because you're part of Team Boom. So definitely get to every single event you can be at. I used to think events were stupid, and now I try to get to every single thing we do. So definitely get there.
Love it. Awesome. Cool. And then how about Chuck? How you doing there, Chuck? I was texting with Chuck today, and so Chuck's a very bright guy. We were like, he was one of my best friends in high school, and he somehow, while we were best friends, somehow snuck in and started dating my sister, and now they're married. I don't know, behind my back, I think. I don't know what was going on there. But Chuck's someone whose opinion I really respect. He's a Cornell guy, even though he started out at college. He went on to bigger and better things, I guess. But and he's very successful with what he does as a real estate developer. So it was cool. This was the first event that I was at with him, and I was just kind of bouncing some stuff off of him, and I wanted him to just share his biggest takeaway. So go for it.
Well, I think, Pat, there was kind of 2 things that I took away from this event, and I'll try to be brief. But the first thing was, and again, this was my first event, so I'm kind of having a little bit different perspective than some of you guys. But kind of the first thing that I took away was, Beachbody first and foremost is a, fitness company. It provides products to help people lose weight and programs and, the shake. And I think that if you kind of introduce Beachbody to people that aren't familiar with it as a fitness provider, fitness product provider first, and, talk to them about how the products have helped people lose weight and reach their goals, it kind of, for a lot of people, really legitimizes the company versus just going to somebody and saying, yeah, you can make a lot of money if you sign up as a coach. So I thought that the whole concept of getting people to embrace the products, use the products, and really like the products is the right way to kind of position Beachbody to somebody. And then, then maybe go into saying, hey, ever thought about maybe, helping your financial situation as well as your fitness situation? And then the second thing was, talking about the coaching part of it. And after talking with Pat and some of the other coaches on Team Boom and some of the coaches that were, not on our team, I thought it was really important to, focus on the people that you find that you think have the, mental and emotional stability and wherewithal to kind of handle this business long term. Someone that's not just going to, someone in their downline quits, or, someone says no to them and they're ready to, have a breakdown. I think it's important to focus your time and effort and energy on those people that you identify as being, I think you guys call them your gold ships, or someone that can really handle this type of business, and focus on that and not try to, waste time on somebody that you have to constantly hold their hand. So again, I
cried many times, and he's my red personality that's like, get over it, Annie.
But I think, I think a lot of people might spend a lot of time on, helping people along that maybe they shouldn't. Maybe they should just try and identify these, the right people and focus their attention on that. So again, different perspective than a lot of you, but that's kind of what I gleaned off of my first real event.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I don't even allow people now to become coaches unless they've at least been through my 21-day challenge, or at least started a 21-day challenge and gotten like a week and a half, 2 weeks in. Because if they don't love the products and they don't love the atmosphere and the environment of the challenge group, why would they invite other people to do that as when they become a coach? So I tell them, I don't know if you would qualify as a coach right now. One of the qualifications is that you have to love the products. That's like one of the foundations that lay the foundation for a successful coach. If you don't love the products, it's not going to work. So I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time.
Right.
So before you become a coach, let's get you into a 21-day challenge. Let's see if you fall in love with the products and the challenge group atmosphere. And then we can talk about coaching, a week and a half into that.
Yeah. And that's something that it really got reinforced by, I listened to Carl Deichler that one day, and he was, not so much talking about all the money that you can make, but the fact that we're providing, Beachbody's providing these products to help people lose weight. And I think a lot of times when I tell people what Annie is doing, they're like, wow, that's like, what is that? They don't get it. And then I start talking about, well, the products are P90X and Insanity and Shakeology, and they've helped all these people lose all this weight. All of a sudden it becomes this company that is a real company with products. And then, you kind of move from there. So, I mean, I think that was one of the sticking points for me on the trip.
Boom. And then once you do get those coaches, which is inevitable, as long as you're plugging people into those challenge groups, some of them are going to fall in love with the products and want to take it to the next step, which is coaching. And then some of those coaches are going to be the coaches you were talking about, those gold ships. And this is, everyone's heard the 80-20 rule. In this business, the top 20% of your coaches are going to create 80% of your business. So those top 20% need 80% of your time. Cool. Thanks, Jack. Great, man. All right. So who else? Who's next? Because I mute this person. Anyone else?
I'll go.
Go for it.
So there were a few things that I took away. Like, one is when people are drunk, they tell you their secrets. So be sure to listen and don't get too drunk yourself so you can listen to them. But I can't tell them because they're secrets. But yeah, just listen, because those side conversations are Caroline knows I'm talking about her. I totally am. But I've already started using those secrets and I'm liking them. So I'll let you know what you told me later, Caroline. One of the big things is like different people, the way they follow up with their customers, like I know Caroline said it and Pat says it, like they've started texting their customers, and that like really keeps that, you know, best friend relationship going those first 30 days that Tommy Migrant was talking about a couple of weeks ago. So that's huge. Like I'm really using the texting now. So that works for me. And also their coach conversion ways, like starting a week and a half. Cause I was like using Amy Reelman. She had the Shakeology, you know, document, and like 1 week before you would message them and let them know there are Shakeologies coming. But I know Caroline and Pat both said like 1.5 to 2 weeks. So I'm going to, you know, step up my game to get them in as coaches sooner. One thing, my husband, he works Wednesday night, so he can't get on the call, but this was his second like real Beachbody event. And he was like so excited to wake up early and go work out with the trainers. And he said like he almost got teary-eyed working out with like Shanti and Tony Horton, because he started, you know, when I started my journey, and we both lost a bunch of weight. So like working out with the trainers, you like, especially when there's hundreds, if not 1,000 other people around you, like, and we're all at different levels and there's all different types of bodies, you just like realize how far you've come. Even if you're just starting out, like you're working out with these famous trainers, and it makes you want to keep going. I know like Sarah Corbeck had like a moment. So just know like everybody else around you is doing the best they can. So it doesn't matter what you look like. And then the Jason guy from coachingcodes.com, the $15,000 a week dude, he said one thing that he tells people when they say they don't have money, like one of his biggest objections, of course, is money. And we all have that. So he just says to them, are you really serious you don't have money, or are you just not interested in what I'm offering? Because if you're really serious, do you think you can find 3 people that would want to do this with you? And he does like a conversion with them. If they say they're not serious, then he's like, okay, peace out. Like he says, you know, I know we're both busy people, so he kind of cuts to the chase. And I think that's where he can cut out his hours too. He says he works 4 to 6 hours in a week, you know, and he makes $9,000 to $15,000 a week doing nothing. So, you know, work smarter, not harder. That was what I got from it.
Awesome. And he's got his gold chips now, so he's kind of cruising. I think that whole best friend thing, I really like that. Like that's something I just started doing that seems to really be helping. Like trying to find at least 5 people to commit to a 21-day challenge. And those 5 people are your best friends for those 3 weeks and then beyond. And really like strengthen that relationship with them, really helping them find a recipe with Shakeology that they really love so that they keep drinking it, so that they get the benefits and feel a lot better from it. And then from there, talking to them about the discount and even coaching. And if you've taken that time to build that relationship and become like, you know, their best friend during those first 2 weeks, they're going to trust you. And if you've taken the time to help them find a good recipe, they're going to love the taste. They're going to start to really feel a lot better and be addicted to that good feeling. Then becoming a coach just for the discount is a no-brainer. And then if they want to take it to the next level and learn a little bit about coaching and maybe just start out by referring 3 friends so that they get their Shakeology for free and then kind of see what happens from there, then that's cool. But that goes back to what Chuck said too, like really taking the time to introduce people to the products first. Because if they don't love the products, if they don't love Shakeology, it's going to wait. You're wasting your time and you're wasting their time too. It's not going to work for them. Cool. Are you going to share what Caroline told you?
What did I say? You can't.
It was just about where she does her invites from, like where she's getting her people. So Caroline, do you want to share that?
I'm confused. I get invites from all over.
Well, you said what you like started inviting from, like gives you a lot. Oh, see, Michelle remembers now. I just didn't want to give her, I started using your secrets and then like found a few other pages. So I'm like, this is awesome.
Oh shit! You can share it now. I can't remember.
So she was just saying that.
Bridget, was this when I was drunk at dinner?
Oh yeah, yeah. And you're like, I'm gonna tell you guys a secret that I normally like. She was like all in your face. It was awesome. Said that she started looking at the Lululemon page or like other sports apparel kind of pages where people like, you know, that they can afford it because they're buying $80 pair of yoga pants. And she would like look at the comments and see what people were saying about their health and fitness, and like where they were at. And she would message certain people that would say they want to lose weight or they can't wear this stuff because they don't fit into it or, you know, blah, blah, blah. But she would, you know, really connect with those people and she'd tag them and say, okay, I sent you a private message. And then she'd start forming them from there. So just, there's new pages you can use and, start forming.
All my coaches who are going to watch this recording are going to think I'm a partier. I don't ever drink. This is why I got so drunk. But no, I really, I focus lives. Brian,
That's like a Lululemon page on Instagram and the Facebook?
No, so just on Facebook. So like Lululemon, Under Armour, Nike, Under Armour Golf, Under Armour Women, especially, this sounds really weird, but I go especially for those companies that do bras, because you'll see, I don't have boobs, but for people that do have boobs or people that are overweight, that's like over this conversation. I don't know if guys can do this, but a lot of women complain that all these companies, high-end companies, are not making bras to fit larger women. Like if you go through these threads, it's consistent trend that all these women are saying, I'm a size 14. You don't have bras to fit me. Like, are you saying I need to lose weight? Or some people are like, I need to lose weight before I can fit into your bras. So like I've gotten my last like 3 or 4 coaches from high-end pages with ads about bras, with them commenting saying that they can't fit into them.
You're not muted.
Someone said, Teresa said, what do you say to them without offending them, Caroline? I don't really care about offending people anymore. I don't know who's in which groups of Pat Reelman's coaching groups, but I had a bad experience, I like didn't reach out to someone until recently because I was like too afraid to talk to them. And I finally reached out and she was like, oh, thanks, but I already have a coach. And ever since that experience, I don't really care. Like if they get offended, oh well, they can block me. Like I ask every single random person, I don't care. And I honestly care more about offending my friends than random people. So if random people get offended, oh well, just keep moving on.
Yeah. Or you can say like, you're probably not interested because you already have your own routine, but have you seen any of my posts about my 21-day challenges? So then it's more like that. Who is next? Who else was on Cancun? Brittany Miller, I see you.
Okay, I'll go. So my biggest takeaway is, like, I think as a team, we hear it from each other all the time to be consistent and, be proof the product works and personal development. But as I sat in, like, on the top 10 panel, it's kind of like when your parents constantly tell you something over and over again and you don't listen to them, but then somebody else tells you that same thing and you're willing to take their advice. Well, as a team, we hear it all the time, to be consistent. And as I was saying, as I sat in at the top 10 panel and I listened to those top 10 coaches who honestly are not doing anything different than we are. They all said it, that you need to be consistent, be proof the product works, and personal development. Because personal development isn't only going to grow you as a person, but it's going to grow your business. So that was like one of my biggest takeaways, that just do it because it's working, and it's working for those 10 people that are sitting on stage. So why can't we make it work for us? And then the other thing was sharing your story. You have to put yourself out there, because if you're not putting yourself out there, there's so many people that maybe you're friends with on Facebook who don't know your story but can relate with you. And maybe that's why, they're not saying anything to you. And as soon as you put that out there and you step outside your comfort zone, you're just going to feel like a better person overall. And every time I go to these events, like when I went to Summit, that's when I originally found my why. And then I went to Delray and I found it again. And then I went to Cancun, and my why has just become so much bigger and stronger now. And I think that these events really make you want it so much more. So that's my biggest takeaway.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
It's true.
So I was trying to get my voice back still.
It's true. Every time you go to these events, man, it makes you step up your game. Your why gets bigger and bigger, and you believe more and more. It adds more fuel to that fire. Awesome. Yeah. Cool. All right, Michelle, you're next. Sorry, I'm calling on people. I normally don't do this.
All right, sorry. I'm normally a lot louder than this, but my voice is like gone. And I woke up with the worst sore throat today and a fever, and so I'm like a hot mess. It's too much tequila and mojitos in Cancun. So, anyways, my biggest takeaway is almost always the people. Like, I love people. I'm a people person. I love forming relationships. I love meeting new people and connecting with people I've already met, but maybe not spent a lot of time with. You know, even people like, you know, everyone on the team, not just people in my downline. So that's always my biggest takeaway. Another thing, like I think Beth was saying it, and maybe a little bit of Pat, was it was cool to see people like approaching us. Like people wanted to know who Team Boom was. And that was always us like looking out to other people. So it's really cool to see that we're like making our mark with Beachbody. And I mean, over the next year, it's just going to be even more crazy. Live events always get me motivated. They always get me excited. They always make me happy. You know, they always get me sent home with like this fuel of just wanting to do more and help more people and be successful. And, you know, it always drives me so much more. So that's almost always my biggest takeaway is just the people, our team, being able to meet everybody and spend time together. That's what always motivates me the most.
No doubt about it. Me too. It's always the people. How about Amy? We got 10 minutes. We got time. Amy, can you hear us, Amy Reelman?
She said she can't hear you, but she had a great time.
Oh, that's a good takeaway. Solid takeaway. I'm looking at who else we got here. How about Joe Poe? Pocono Joe.
I think I'm unmuted now.
Yeah.
Had a great time. Yeah, the one takeaway is don't drink tequila shots when you're drinking tequila on the rocks already. That's number one. The biggest thing.
Scare some coaches away.
You know, talking to people, and you know, this is a few years I'm doing this now, and you know, each time it gets bigger, it gets better. The products just keep coming. The training keeps getting better. The Reelman's doing a great job with that. And the fact that, you know, if Pat quit when he was down, you know, in the beginning, didn't know what he was doing, you know, none of us would be here right now. So people are watching. That's why Brian's here. That's why Chris Bachlett's in. That's why Steve's on board now. I think they were watching and wanted to see how it worked out, you know, for Pat. So you have friends, you have family doing the same thing. So you just got to keep going. Don't quit. You know?
Yeah. You're a human guinea pig for everyone that knows you.
That's it.
What else we got here?
Shauna, are you still on the call? Share about that Elite and Premier thing that you went to and nobody else did. Or Bridget, did you go to? We didn't want to leave the pool. Shauna, are you on?
I see Terry, but I think she's driving. Are you? And T, you want to share?
Okay, I'm here.
Oh, Shauna, go for it.
I don't know, Michelle. That Elite and Premier thing wasn't that exciting.
Okay, never mind. Then you can share whatever.
It was just that FAQ sheet about how to get there. It wasn't like coaches telling you what to do to get there. So.
What was your biggest takeaway from the week?
My biggest takeaway, I feel like it's the same as like when we went on the cruise, just the energy from everyone, and you just come home and you're excited to work your business, and it's exciting to meet new people. Like I met up most of you before, but like Sarah or Becky I hadn't met, so that was exciting, and just like a big family. And I actually told Colin that you can tell who, like last year, like everyone that was on the cruise like strived really hard to reach diamond, and you can tell who is not necessarily working harder, but the people that are love the events because they keep coming back to the event. So it's the same people over and over and over, and each time you gain a couple people, but those are the people that really see the vision of the business, and it's really cool to just watch everyone grow. And then coming home, it's exciting. Like I just was driving to work today, I had chills just thinking about the week and how everyone's growing and how our team's getting bigger, and it's just exciting.
And now your team's getting bigger, which is cool.
Donna, talk about what you hit in Cancun. Your goal last year for the cruise, and then your goal this year.
Oh yeah, so last year my goal for the cruise was to hit diamond, and I had no coaches January 14th, and by March 24th, the week during the cruise on Thursday, I got to diamond, which was super exciting. And then this year, my goal was to get to my highest paycheck ever at $500 for a week before Cancun. And then I was like, oh, this is never going to happen. Like, I don't know why I did this to myself. And then I logged into my online office on Thursday, and I had made $544, and I had no idea. So it was really exciting.
Crazy, right? Crazy. You get paid when you're on vacation.
Yeah. And I want to share that Colin here, he's hiding, made an Instagram today, and he's actually the one that got on the call. I was just going to skip it.
Can Colin share his biggest? It's cool. I think there's a lot of women that do coaching on Team Boom, and their husbands are kind of hearing about it more than they would like, I think. But it would be cool to hear what Colin, who really isn't necessarily in the business, but he's starting to get a little bit clearer vision of what it is. You mind sharing, Colin, maybe one takeaway from the event? I'm putting you on the spot, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah. I think I'm a lot like Chuck. I've done the workouts, drink Shakeology. Like an outsider looking in, kind of how he was saying. I think emphasizing that the business is helping everybody, and that just sounds a lot better than talking to people oh, hey, you can do this and make a lot of money. It's cool. Right. So I don't know. Yeah, I agree a lot with what Chuck was saying, and right now things are a little crazy, but I'll probably be kicking myself in 5 years when I didn't start the business sooner. But I think in time it'll come.
Cool. I believe you said something about Kool-Aid, Colin.
I didn't drink the Kool-Aid yet. Michelle, here's Oscar.
But he had tequila with Joe.
He drank the tequila.
Yeah, Joe was the one giving me the tequila. Yeah.
I think my dad's on here too. Do you want to share, Dad? I don't know if he knows how to unmute his phone. Can Terry hop off? Well, am I missing anyone else? Was anyone else at Cancun that hasn't had a chance to share something? Terry, can you hear us? You're unmuted, but he can't hear you.
Pat, I want to piggy off, if she can't talk, about something that Shauna just said. Because there was one point where I was sitting on the bus, and everybody in the bus was a diamond. Every person. And like Shauna said, these people that go to the events, they'll start out as an emerald. And then the next year, then they go 6 months later and they're a diamond. And then they go again, and Michelle's a 2-star, and Amy Reelman is qualifying 5-star now. And the people that go to these events, it's the same thing. You're building relationships with the people. You're finding out what's working. You hear what, how much their income is increased just in a year. Marie Sardelli had no coaches when she went to Summit, which was less than a year ago. She has, I don't even know what she was telling me today, that she just hit her highest paycheck. She's going to go 2-star soon. And so I always tell people, and I always tell my coaches, your first year is just building the business, building relationships, focusing on, helping people, believing in the products, doing the workouts, just being consistent, and it's going to all of a sudden snowball. And all of my, Brittany Miller, Shauna, Michelle, every one of those coaches, my sister, myself, I mean, that starts to pick up. And I was on the beach in Cancun, and somebody sent me a message from an invite that I did in 2012, and they never sent me a message ever. And they said, I'm following you. I see that you're there. I've been following your journey, and I'm going to be a coach. And I couldn't even get off the beach to get internet before they signed up to be a coach. And that never, I was hold on, wait, but that never would have happened to me if I my first 6 months, and then I gave up.
That's your first year of consistency, though. Like, it's not just your first year hanging around. It's your first year of being
like from when you become active, right? Like I was a coach for like 2 years and did nothing. Like I'm talking your first year of you being active, like inviting, following up.
And if you're consistent for like 2 months and then you take like 3 weeks off, then your year starts over again.
So Pat, can you hear me, Pat?
Yeah.
Am I on or no?
I can hear you.
I'm walking outside here because I got kicked out of the apartment. No, I'm just kidding. There's tons of takeaways that I took, but one of the big ones I'm seeing, and you get a lot of people have said this, is when we went to these events in the past, no one knew us. We knew no one. Now I'm walking around to these events and everybody's saying hello to me. And I have no idea who these people are. Like Michael Neiman walked up to me and started talking to me. I mean, these people, Team Boom is known now. And the other cool thing that I took away was all these other guys that are getting involved is really nice. I mean, that's huge for Team Boom, getting all these husbands and boyfriends involved in this business. And the last thing I always take away from these events is, and people have said this also, is all the little tips that you get at the bar, in the pool, talking to the people, and how friendly they are. I mean, they want to give you these tips. These people aren't hiding anything. They want to tell you what they're doing because they want Beachbody to be successful. They don't want to hide their, they're not hiding anything. They want Beachbody to be successful. So they know these products work and they want everybody to know about them. So, I mean, there's tons of takeaways, but Team Boom is out there and people know us.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And for the most part, the
can you
people
hear
at
me?
the events are good people. Like if they weren't good
Yeah,
people,
can you
they
hear
wouldn't have
me?
made it to the event. Hello? Someone talking?
Oh, it's Amy.
Hey.
I got my audio short. I'll be really quick, but obviously piggybacking off of what everyone else said, just being around people and the little conversations here and there. It's not even always just like the big seminars you go to and hearing the top coaches, just the side conversations. But the biggest thing for me too is just being surrounded by people who are not like better than you, but they've seen more success, and just sharing ideas with each other and bouncing ideas off one another, and just being surrounded by like-minded people who have the same, goals and whatnot as you. So, I mean, I created a few success partners while I was there. And so every time I go to an event, I'm just ignited to push harder. That's all.
Surround yourself with good people. If you surround yourself with positive, supportive people, you will become a happier, healthier person, aside from the business and the products. I think that's one thing that people overlook about this whole community. So I think the biggest takeaway from this whole thing is you got to get to events, and it just so happens that the next event is this Saturday. All over the country, they have these. They're called Super Saturdays. They do them once a quarter, and I'm going to show you how to find the closest one near you so that you can get surrounded by these really cool, positive people, and they don't even have to be Team Boom. We spend a lot of time with Beachbody coaches outside of Team Boom, and a lot of times it's the coaches outside of Team Boom that you learn the most from, that something really clicks. So I'm going to share my screen to show you guys how to go into your Coach Online office to find this. So I'm in my Coach Online office, and so I'm going to go to News and Training, Events. Under Events here, I'm going to go to Super Saturday 2015. April 25th, which is this Friday, and it kind of talks about what it is. And then there's this new interactive map, or there's this view event listings. Well, I'm going to go to this map because I like that the best. And then all you got to do is type in your zip code, and it's going to show you the closest one to it. And if you zoom out, you can see like there's a couple here. I live right around here, so the closest one to me is in West Palm, and there's a couple here in Miami, and there's a few over on the other side. If you live in like Syracuse, which I know a lot of you guys live in like upstate New York, So Annie's doing one. I don't know if Annie's is on here. Maybe.
Mine's Syracuse.
There it is. So here's Andrea Wallace. So that's how you get to it. You just type in your zip code, and you'll be able to find it. So do whatever you can to get to that event. I'm assuming that everyone on this call is invested enough to get to one of these Super Saturdays. Then the next step is getting as many of your team to one of these Super Saturday events, because this is an event-driven business, and it's really like where people's eyes are open to it. That's all I got. So let's get a boom on 3, and let's get as many people to these Super Saturdays as possible. And obviously, it goes without saying, Summit is the #1 most important thing you can do for your business. So you got to be there. You got to get as many of your coaches there as possible too. All right, boom on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I love the kids.